Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. This is the Eco Beloved here, live and direct from the studio, streaming live on the Eco Beloved Facebook page. Go like the page, please share, please share. We're also simulcasting on New Freedom Exchange, YouTube, and Facebook pages, and also New Freedom Network page as well. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to those and like those pages as well. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Eco Beloved Midnight Update, live and direct here. And we're tonight going to share some information in regards to Winter Storm Kenan, which is barreling down on the East Coast, mainly the major cities along I-95, from Philly on northward to Boston, and then eventually on northward to Maine as well, as we get into this weekend. Right now, we're in the beginning stages, early phases of the storm system itself, the early timetable. We're in it for a long night, overnight tonight, or pre-dawn. It's 12:09 a.m. here on the East Coast. It's good evening for those who are watching, possibly on the West Coast. And in those who are on the West Coast time and Central Time, for us, it's already Saturday early morning, and we will, as we progress throughout the night, the storm system is still taking shape. It's going to intensify this evening, this morning, and go through rapid intensification process, and it will. As it edges up the coast, we have to watch closely still nowcasting situation. Now, we're no longer looking at any of the models that we talked about in a couple our last few reports, the European and GFS. Forget about them at this point. Those are long-range models at this point in time. We are now in the short range, and we're now just watching the radars and watching how fast the precipitation field fills in, and also how far west does the precipitation get, which will be the sharp cutoff that we've all been talking about in the last few updates, which could be the difference of people receiving several inches to nothing. And that's extreme west New Jersey, up the Hudson Valley, up to 87, and northward as well. And northward as well. So we have to watch that. The precipitation shield. We have warnings up, so we're going to share screen in just a second to show a couple of things. One, people want to know, of course, when does the storm end? When we're already beginning, so when does the storm end for everyone? So we're going to talk about ending time as well. And ending time for most people is going to vary because of the start time of the storm system itself. It's going to be, should be out of here for most people living in New York City, the tri-state area, between 4 and 7 o'clock tomorrow afternoon into early evening hours, and then later in the night for Boston and et cetera into Sunday. They'll probably still have some effects on Sunday in those areas as well. So just keep that in mind, that we still have a long way to go. We still have a long way to go this evening. This overnight, these hours into the morning hours, it will still be snowing when you wake up. It's snowing now when you go to sleep. It's gonna be still snowing when you wake up. So just keep that in mind, that we're still in the beginning stages of this storm system. And right now we're going to discuss some of the latest information that we have to share with you all this evening. I'm going to bring up a couple of things that we would like to talk about this evening, as far as winter storm warnings and blizzard warnings that are up. Mainly the winter storm warnings are for the inland areas like Philadelphia and New York City, and then towards Atlantic City, Pleasantville, blizzard warnings are up. Expect blizzard-like conditions for periods of 2 hours or more. That means visibility is down to 0 with heavy wind-driven snow. And that's the Jersey Shore, up to the extreme eastern end of Long Island, Suffolk County, and then also Boston, around Boston, Nantucket, and the Cape will be extreme, and parts of Rhode Island as well will be extremely windy. We're talking about 50 to 75 miles per hour wind gusts. That is up to Category 1 hurricane force wind gusts. Power outages are potential, especially to the coastal areas. Atlantic City, Pleasantville, that Jersey Shore area, eastern end of Long Island, and up to Nantucket, Cape Cod, and then up to Boston. A little more likely there. Inland areas will be gusting to 30, 35, 40, 45 miles per hour. And some of the heavy snow bands, which is something that also we have to monitor as well, which is a nowcasting situation. Where those heavy snow bands set up, do they get far west, and how long do they stay over top of a particular area, which is, again, how fast your snow will accumulate. So if we're talking a foot, okay, that's going to fall in how many hours, right? And then that's the difference, because some people may make it more. We may get some surprise jackpots in some areas, and then we may miss. Some areas may miss what they were supposed, or underdo what they were supposed to get, basically, which is possible, definitely possible. So we want to keep that in mind as we go about our overnight tonight. But travel, I want to talk about travel. Travel, forget about it. You shouldn't be thinking about traveling tomorrow. By no stretch of the imagination should we be on the roads tomorrow in driving cars. As we know, we want to make sure we give the roads to the proper personnel. That's any emergency vehicles, 911, and also for our sanitation departments and locales, for them to do their job. And to do it efficiently and effectively, we need people not to be on the roads. You need not to be on the road tomorrow, period. And if you have to be on the road, some people say take mass transit. And the likelihood of mass transit getting shut down depends, again, especially the outside lines of the trains here in the city. Those who are on the outside lines, that's something you got to monitor, because as snow falls at a certain rate, fast rate, accumulates fast, hard to keep up, there's going to be certain places that shut down. It's just the facts, especially outside trains, outside tracks are exposed, and those trains may shut down or be suspended for a period of time. So keep that in mind, that might happen during the day, course of the night into Saturday. So don't be surprised if we wake up and certain train lines are suspended, especially the outside lines. Airports are going to really be hammered. So if you're expecting to fly in this weekend, cancellations and delays, but a lot of cancellations, cancel flights. So please check ahead to your carriers. If you're expecting people to come in this weekend, it's probably not going to happen. More likely that's not going to happen this weekend. Perhaps catching a flight early next week, or be rescheduled for early next week, or on Sunday, maybe, or we're looking at probably flights being Sunday, or more likely Monday or Tuesday being rescheduled for those who have canceled flights that were supposed to fly in tomorrow, or today rather, Saturday, because of the weather. It's not going to be conducive to fly on planes in weather that's wind-driven snows and blizzard-like conditions for a period of time. So that's that. Just want to make that known. So we're going to do a couple of statements here. We're going to read a couple of statements. We're going to share our screen right now so you can see what we're talking about this evening briefly. As far as melting, people are talking about melting snow. That will happen, but not on the onset. Saturday night is going to be a hard freeze, a very hard freeze Saturday night. And it's going to turn into ice. Let me see here. It's going to turn into ice, which is going to affect us. Oh, boy. It's going to affect us immensely. For those who, excuse me here, let me not do that just yet. Yes. 40s and 50s are coming later in the week for the tri-state area, New York City, Philadelphia. We'll get a little milder later midweek next week before another cold storm passes by, a cold front that brings down some more of the Arctic air that we've seen this week. Will come back towards the latter portion of next week into the weekend. So enjoy the 40s, 50s, but those days will come with rain, unfortunately. So that will help to wash away whatever snow is left. But Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday, the snow is not going nowhere. So for the next 2 to 3 days, the snow will still be underground. So keep that in mind. Let me not share this desktop screen. Okay, let's do Chrome tab. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's do New York. Okay, so this is straight for the National Weather Service. This is for Upton, New York, which is out in Long Island. And you see where those blizzard warnings are, which is the red shady areas. That's ice flowing from Islip all the way to Riverhead, over to Montauk. That covers the Hamptons. And also getting up to New London, southeastern Connecticut, and then eventually to the right of that is, of course, Rhode Island, and keep going eastward is getting us into the Cape and Cape Cod, where there's also blizzard warnings for them as well. Mainly for Princeton up to Newark, up to New York City, and the 5 boroughs, Nassau County, up to Stamford, Bridgeport, New Haven, Middleton, Hartford, Connecticut, and parts of the Hudson Valley are under winter storm warnings. Now let's zoom in and get some of the language here of what is the warning entail. And the warning entails, it goes to 7 p.m. Again, it covers the whole 5 boroughs. Again, we'll be talking about heavy snow expected. The National Weather Service is leaning 7 to 10 inches. Some places said 6 to 9. That sounds about right. I'm leaning more towards the high end of that 10-inch mark. And some of the 5 boroughs will get this 10-inch mark. Some of the 5 boroughs, probably up to the Bronx and Westchester County, may lean more towards the 7 mark because, again, depending on the heavy bands, with those heavy bands set up, and how far west does the precip shield go, and dry air, and that cutoff, any dry air and cutoff that happens will cut off the precipitation. So the low end, I'm going with low end to the Bronx and Westchester County. 10 inches solid for parts of Queens, southern Queens, maybe Central Park, around the Central Park area, parts of Brooklyn, I think will get that 10 inches. And winds will be gusting. Remember, we talked about the winds. So gusting up to or high as 45 miles per hour. And blizzard conditions are possible for a period of time today. Again, this is from 7 p.m. yesterday to 7 p.m. Saturday. And again, travel will be very difficult. Hazardous conditions could impact the evening commute. We didn't really do. We did pretty well for this yesterday evening for the evening commute. Gusty winds could bring down tree branches, which is something to watch as well. And visibility, when you have blowing snow, 45 mile per hour, 50 mile per hour winds, you will have reduced visibility. So how far you could see out is to be reduced to a quarter mile or less at times Saturday morning, which is going to be not going to be able to see too far down. And if it goes down to 0, you're definitely not going to basically see anything, even that close to you or that far away from you. So that's the winter storm warning area. Let's show what's the blizzard warning entail. Let's go to Riverhead. Let's see what Riverhead looking like. Blizzard warning, and then look at that coastal flood advisory. Again, this is what we was talking about, that wind, because of the direction of this storm, and it has a tight pressure gradient around it. What's going to happen is that the wind's direction upon which the wind is coming from is going to push the body of water further inland. So that's how you get coastal flooding on the beaches and low-lying areas. Blizzard warning is in effect from, again, till 7 p.m. today. Up here in Riverhead, a solid foot to a foot and a half. So that's 13 to 17 inches, and winds gusting up to high as 60 miles per hour. Again, closer to the center track of the circulation of the storm. More heavy snow and wind. So that's why the wind speed is going to be a tad bit higher than it's going to be inland towards the city. So this warning covers parts of Connecticut, that's northern New London, southern New London counties, New York, southeast Suffolk, and northeast Suffolk counties. Again, travel will be very difficult to, I would say, as they say here, impossible. Impossible. When you have wind speeds blowing 50 miles per hour, wind-driven snow, zero visibility, no. Whiteout conditions are likely at times. That means you won't be able to see nothing in front of you. And it's just not going to be conducive for travel whatsoever. So that's the language here, a little language. And this temperature is going to be dropping. It's 30 degrees now. So that's going to be dropping throughout the night. We won't even make it out of the 20s tomorrow, or today rather. We're not going to do that. Let's see. Let's look at some radars here. Some graphical radars here. Let's see what we're looking like. No, that's not what we're looking for. Let's see. Okay. So these are all of the warnings areas for the storm. Blizzard warnings all the way up like this up to coastal Maine. That's the red shaded areas of the blizzard warnings, all the way down to Atlantic City. And the purple shaded areas are those winter storm warnings that go from central Maine all the way down to southern New Hampshire, most of Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York City, down all the way to Jersey, then eventually to Delaware. Atlantic City is going to be on the brunt of this storm system. So this is out of the National Weather Service, Philadelphia, Mount Holly section of the National Weather Service. As you see, this is where the sharp cutoff is going to be at, more likely. So that's why there's like winter weather advisories for DC, Baltimore, Lancaster, Reading, Allentown, and parts of extreme northwestern New Jersey, because these areas may get 1, 2, 3 inches, but that's based upon, again, how far the precipitation shield goes back to these areas. These areas could get nothing. So Baltimore, DC, basically going to get spared. I know we had the last couple of storms affect your area. This time around, it's not going to happen. For you guys can get spared from this storm system, and particularly because of the track of the storm and where it's originated from. So blizzard warnings over down the coast areas, even down to Delaware, Salisbury, Delaware, and Atlantic City. So let's zoom in on Atlantic City. Let's get some Atlantic City action. So Atlantic City under blizzard warning, coastal flood advisory as well. So blizzard warning is in effect at 7 o'clock tonight. You all solid. I'm going with a solid foot in Atlantic City, up to 18 inches. I think that's a decent call. And again, this Atlantic City, Cape May, Sandy Hook, Long Beach, those areas here, Freehold, Burlington, Georgetown, etc. And the wind is going to be extremely gusty here. Winds up to 50 miles per hour plus, which will make travel virtually, inevitably impossible. And more tree branches more likely will come down at some point. So power outages are likely extreme, especially in these coastal areas. So blizzard conditions was late tonight, going through midday today. Blizzard conditions are probably expected at or within a few miles from the coast. And the falling snow will diminish west to east Saturday afternoon, but blowing snow may continue into Saturday night. So again, stay off the roads. It's the best advice I could give is to stay off the roads at all times throughout the storm, and let the emergency vehicles and your sanitation departments get the snow cleaned up and get ready for Sunday and going to Monday. Philadelphia, Philly. This is a winter storm warning for the city of Philadelphia that includes all the counties, Morris, Somerset, Middlesex, Camden, the cities of Morristown, Flemington, Somerville, New Brunswick, Trenton, Glassboro, Cherry Hill, and all those places in between. Low end, Philadelphia, 5 inches. That's the low end. Based upon, again, this cutoff of the storm system and how much of those heavy bands, where those heavy bands set up, 5 to up to 11 inches. So I'm going to lean in the middle here for at least a half a foot in the city of Philadelphia. I think it's going to be some sweet spots. And again, if we get into those banding situations, those heavy snow bands of 1 to 2 inches per hour, we're going to make that 5 inches up in no time. And we'll be heading into those double digits, that 11-inch mark. But that, again, it's depending on the way those bands set up. We'll see as the radar develops here in the city of Philadelphia. So at least a half a foot in Philadelphia, and the snow should be over, winding down by late afternoon, going to early evening hours here in the city of Philadelphia. So let's see here. What else do we want to talk about this evening? I guess we can show the current radar if we can here. Oh, we need to talk about also please, if you have a generator, to make sure that your generator is it's in a ventilated space separate from your immediate space. What happens is that fires tend to happen with generators a lot. So you want to be careful with generators and be careful with those space heaters as well, and those lithium batteries as well. Be careful during this time, and please do not use your oven to heat your apartment if you have no heat. Carbon monoxide is a silent killer, and it's something that we need to be careful with. I can't stress that enough, so please be careful with that as well. Let's see here. I want to show the radar. We can show the radar, show how it's filling in. So here's the radar from the National Weather Service live here. And you see here our snow is indicated by this greenish bluish color. Again, just getting started. I wonder if we can put this in motion. No motion. No, it's only going to play from 11:15 to 12:25. Okay, let me see. We want to go to let's go to Tropical Tidbits. Our friends at tropicaltidbits.com. We'll get the radars from there. Let's see here. Continue the Tropical Tidbits. Just continue. Come on. What is this? What is this nonsense? Oh, come on. What is this nonsense, please? X this out. Okay, here we go. Let's go to our current situation here now. Our forecast models. So let's do let's get to the NAM model. The NAM is in the short range now as we speak. Again, remember I was telling you we're not really concerned about what these models are saying, but they are showing us our storm system developing and taking shape off the coast of the Carolinas. Actually started to take shape down here off the coast of Georgia and South Carolina, and it's going to move up the eastern seaboard. This is hour 18. Yep, those darker blues are those heavy snow bands. This storm is really going to blossom. Look at that. By the time it heads to the off the Cape Cod and Nantucket, it's going to be a 970. I think that's a 970 millibar barometric pressure. Tight. There's going to be tight gradient around it. There's going to be some heavy snows there in Nantucket and Cape Cod. It's going to get slammed hard. And then really those winds, these tight black lines of those millibars, you see them, they're so tightly compacted. This is heavy, heavy snow, wind driven, all the way back to Boston, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Long Island, getting back to some of New York City, and definitely up to Maine, New Hampshire, getting in some of that action. And as the storm system pulls away from the 5 boroughs, from the city, becomes a threat in New England, still bombing 967 millibars. That's a deep storm. Goes down to 966. And eventually, 966 might be the lowest it'll get, and then eventually up into Nova Scotia, where it will be snowing up in Nova Scotia at some point as well. Do we have access to the HRR? HRR model is another short range model. And this is going to be a very slow time scale. And it shows, again, pretty much like the NAM, a deepening low pressure. Yeah, something like that the HRR model is showing us tonight. No ocean. Storm's not going out to the ocean. It's right here affecting us now. Let me see. Does this give us any radars, aircraft, satellite imagery? This is out in the Pacific, more so the ocean. Gulf, Western Atlantic, Northwest Atlantic. Let's see here. What does it look like from this point? Okay. What's going on here? All right, this is the satellite imagery showing us our storm system here, taking shape, developing off the coast, up the Cape, off of Cape Hatteras, and these high deepening clouds here. Those are the signs of the deepening storm. These darker reds and yellows and oranges, signaling a deepening storm system that's going to really deepen overnight tonight, going into tomorrow. I wish I had maybe water vapor imagery is still up. Yeah, this water vapor imagery is still up. Yeah. That's throwing how much moisture we're going to get from the subtropical jet as well in here. Let me see. The satellite is up tonight. This might be down because it is a night. No, not that one. We just saw that. Shortwave. Yes, same one. Okay. That's very good. All right, let's see. Let me see if I can get into the other spot here. We're going to stop sharing the screen and let me see if I can pull up the other radars. Okay. Also, blizzard-like conditions are ahead. Let me see here. Let's see if I can get the radar up and moving right now. While we wait, if anyone has any questions, feel free to chime in this evening. We'd love to get your questions tonight. If not, if you have questions for tomorrow, we'll be coming back live tomorrow as well. All right, let me see there. Can we get the radar up? Oh, they're getting fancy now. They want to charge premium. I see. Oh, they're getting real fancy over here now. Okay. All right, we'll circumvent that real quick. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get radar. Hold on 1 second. My beloveds, we're going to see if we can get the radar up. Or you think I'm going to have to use another place for it. Another site, because the other site wants to charge us premium prices all of a sudden. We're not going to do that. Okay. All right, let's see if we can get the radar up. It's loading right now. Winter outlook for February. February, it's too early to tell for the month of February. There's some outlooks that suggest for the month of February that temperatures will be above average for the month of February. But again, there's so many other clues to look for in terms of that. I know that it's going to be mild to begin February, but we'll have another burst of cold air coming from the Arctic Canadian province, coming right behind the cold front storm that brings us rain next week. So to start the month of February, it is going to be an interesting month. And winter is not over yet. Just letting everyone know that winter is not over, and it's generally a couple of months. January, February is usually the coldest months of the year. March is becoming a fickle month of transition period where you can still get snow in the month of March. So definitely keep that in mind as you think about this spring and the summer, and what that looks like. So keep that in mind, my beloveds. The radar I want to show, it's filling in now as we speak, and I would like to show that before we depart for this evening and come back to you all later this morning. Let me see if we can show that. Yes. Okay, here we are. Radar showing, again, snow is getting back, covering all of the city and up to Long Island, getting to Connecticut, a little bit up the Hudson Valley. Pretty much all over New Jersey should be snowing by now. And then it is somewhat snowing in East Stroudsburg, Allentown, down the Reading, Lancaster, nothing in Harrisburg, nothing in Lebanon, nothing in York, nothing up to Scranton. These places will not get anything from this storm system. Again, these areas even here are on the fringe line of some snow, but not much. Let's back up a little bit here. Zoom out just a tad bit, and then we're going to put this thing in motion. So snow is getting up until, like I said, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and eventually up into Massachusetts and Boston and the Cape. So I'm going to put this thing in motion a little bit. And this goes, oh, actually, this was in Friday mode. Let me see if we can move it up. Move it up some. Interesting. So it's staying at the same spot. It's weird. Okay, I don't know what's going on with this radar. It's really staying at the same spot. Well, I think this radar only goes up to a certain time. That's why. Okay, got it. Here we go. Okay, this makes sense. Okay, so this radar starts Friday. Started yesterday, last night, rather, and it's just snowing. So this only goes a couple hours in the future, and it only goes into the morning time. So it's clearly showing that it's still snowing. As I move the bar up, it's still snowing in basically everywhere. That's Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York City, Connecticut, Massachusetts, etc. So again, a long night. It's going to be a long night, long morning for us. So hunker down, watch your favorite movies today, chill out, relax, read, maybe read some good reads, books, and just take it all in. And by Sunday you'll be gone. It'll be out of here by Saturday night, Sunday. Be able to go out and survey what it looks like in terms of what the damage looks like as well. But Sunday will be a massive cleanup, and Saturday night into Sunday will be a massive cleanup for most of us. And we'll make it through. We'll make it out. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their night. I will be back a little later today with another update, and hope everyone enjoys the rest of your night. Be safe. Stay off the roads if you can, and hunker down and stay warm. Stay safe, everyone. Peace and good night.